Hello and welcome to another episode of Tribunal of the Grid, where we talk about all things Power Rangers, including the actors that played them. My name is Brandon.
My name is Lena.
My name is Will.
And today we will be talking once again some Dino Fury, we'll be talking some Dino Fury. Because we haven't officially finished reviewing the series. So we're gonna talk about that. We are also going to talk about some little information from Boom Studios and what they're going to be doing. And we will also be talking about a little something that popped up on the interwebs about a certain group of people who produced a certain movie connected to JDF. So we'll be talking about that as well and giving our opinions on that as well. But first, before we start, I would just like to let everybody know about our link, tr.ee/Tribunal of the Grid link. That is the link where you will find all of our links, our SoundCloud, our YouTube, our Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere where you listen to podcasts, you will find us. I just want to also give a shout out to all of the people who have commented on all of our most recent episodes. I know that there's been a little situation with the post with how we aired 2 episodes in one day. Normally that does not happen. But
it was also brought to our attention that apparently SoundCloud isn't uploading our episodes when I schedule them for either. So there was that. So it seemed like we were gone for a really long time.
And we really weren't. It was a thing. But you know what? You know what else was a thing? Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett did the thing. I'm sorry, I had to throw that out there.
Wow.
Sorry, I had to throw it out there. But no, Angela Bassett did not do the thing. But someone else did a thing. Boom Studios.
Yeah, sure did.
Like how I threw that in there? Yeah,
also certain group of people did a thing too, but this could have segued to so many other topics.
It could have, actually. Good point. It really could have. But
we'll go with the great news first. Then
we'll go with the good news first, right? Right?
Yeah.
So Boom Studios will support the 30th anniversary with stories designed for both longtime fans and new readers alike, including an all-ages series launching on Free Comic Book Day called Ranger Academy, and a secret event that will be our biggest to date. Now, apparently, Ranger Academy will be having little stories that will be telling different little things from different seasons. So almost kind of like explaining away some things and giving credence as to why certain things happened in certain seasons. So my question to you all is, what is a story that you would like for them to do? What is something that happened in Power Rangers that was never quite explained, and for them to be like, hey, explain this?
For me, I would say what happened in between passing the torch and Stitch witchery. I always wondered how the new Turbo Rangers were trained and why they were so affected by Zordon's kidnapping at the end of Turbo, which their goal and in space was to find and retrieve Zordon. And I always wondered, we only saw them with him one time So why did they care about him? So I always envisioned that there was something that happened in between those episodes and that gap of time where, he mentored them. And I also kind of envisioned that the veteran rangers, before they left, they also trained them. That was my own headcanon. So I would love to see what really happened there. And I think we did see this in Power Rangers universe, but I would love to see what happened before Andros met the Space Rangers. Like, I guess to see more of that. Anything else? God, there's so much that happened
No,
in
for
30
real.
years.
No, for real. I mean, while you're
That's
thinking
all I can
though,
think
like,
of.
oh, okay. No, I was gonna say like one of the things that I would like to see actually was the first one that you mentioned, which was the training of the second group of Turbo Rangers. Because when they became official Rangers, they really kind of felt like they've been doing this for a while. Like technically, the episode Stitch Witchery was like their first battle, but was it their first battle? You know what I'm saying? Like, was it
Yeah.
their first battle at that point?
Yeah, watching that back, you can tell that it's that some time had passed. Because when they came, when we first saw them, it was still summertime. And then when we saw them again, they were, students at Angel Grove High.
Right. Well, I mean, was it really summer though? Was it
I
summer?
think
Because
so.
because like I do well that's well I don't know because like
Oh, right.
there's so many episodes, well not so many, but there's a couple episodes in Turbo where it does kind of seem like it was school time, because there's
Right,
the
when
episode
Justin
where
got
Justin
bullied,
got
right?
bullied. Yeah, and
Right.
then there's the other episode where they had to have been in school because that was during the episode where Carlos and Ashley had their little episode where Carlos was being a dick to the other guy because he wasn't quote unquote as talented as he was, and Ashley was like, "You're being a jerk." So, yeah. So there's that episode too.
See,
So they had to still been in school.
they're leaving us in the dark, confusing us all these years. I don't know.
Yeah,
Hopefully
no,
they
I would
explain
have
that.
loved to have seen that. Yeah, no, yeah, like that's something I would like to see too. I would actually like to see something another situation on the same line as that. The other situation that I would like to see is Catherine being trained for the Pink Ranger role, because like, so did Kimberly just give her the coin and be like, "Peace out, bitches," and left? Like, what did she do? Because like Catherine knew how to do a little Ninja Ranger power thing. I mean, she never fought anybody, but she knew how to do it. Like she knew how to transform. So I'm wondering, like, did she kind of get some training? I mean, it does kind of feel like she did get training, but then I'm also thinking like maybe she didn't get training because like it felt like on that episode everything was for the first time. So I'm wondering, was everything like just boom, 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 and then she just had to do everything all in the moment, all at the same like for the first time, or did she get some kind of training? Because I don't know, like it just kind of seemed like on one hand it does kind of seem like she did get a little, but I mean in my own head canon I would like to think she did, but also at the same time it just kind of just seemed like she just got tossed into the pool and was like, all right girl, swim. No
It
pun
could have
intended,
been
because she
a
was a
mix,
diver.
could have been a mix of both, honestly.
I could see that. I could see that.
Oh, I just thought of something. Lost Galaxy. Who put the quasar sabers in the stone?
Who was the original Lost Galaxy Rangers? Yeah.
That could be the way that they introduced the ancient Rangers.
Remember, that was the plot. Well, not that wasn't the plot, but like the Ancient Rangers was a thing at one point.
And
They were a thing.
the I guess the Earth and Marinoy, like I don't know, like I don't want to say connection, but there's a relationship there, obviously. And obviously, we've seen people who were on Marinoy, well, people who
Mm-hmm.
were on Terra Venture that, I guess, do we want to say they colonized Marinoy or they cohabitated with the Marinoy people? Like, what is the relationship now? You know, how Bulk came back to Earth.
You
Um,
know, that's something that honestly I would like to think that they co-inhabited. I would like to think they
yeah, yeah,
co-inhabited
yeah.
because like they do kind of seem like they were getting along with the people instead of well, they were going to get along with the people instead of like being like, hey, this is now our land, like a certain group of people did. But
Mhm.
it's not like they were gonna do that. Well, I hope they didn't do that. Because I do kind of feel like we've never seen Marinoy after.
Right.
So, except for that one scene where Leo pulled the Quasar stone,
Mhm,
and it's still
mhm,
relatively the same.
mhm,
So, I'm thinking that maybe perhaps, they probably just co-inhabited and just was like, okay, we'll adapt to your ways, kind of a
mhm,
situation.
mhm.
But one of the things that I would actually, another thing that I would like to see, um, would actually be what happened after Sky took over the SPD.
Oh, oh.
Like what happened? Because basically Sky did become like the next Anubis Kruger.
Mhm.
So he
Oh,
became the
yeah.
head of SPD. So what
Mhm,
happened? Like what was his way of, running SPD?
mhm.
You know, I would love that. And is Cat still around? Because technically, Cat been around for all these hundreds of years. Like, is she still alive? Like, is she still working in SPD? What you
Mm.
say?
I forgot
Oh, I
she
thought you said
was
something
that.
else. What you say?
I totally forgot she was that old. You couldn't
Yeah,
have
like
told me that. I
Cat's old as
totally
shit.
forgot.
So
Wow.
I
Oh,
don't know.
oh.
Like, yeah.
So, SPD, the timeline is actually it's coming up very soon.
Oh yeah.
But
No, yeah.
and
Like
by
it's
yeah, and by now we should have aliens on Earth living with humans, but we don't
mhm,
have that. That should have
mhm.
happened by now,
Yes, it should have. Like,
like in the last decade, I would think.
yeah. Yeah. It should have been happening. And perhaps maybe it already has. Maybe it already has. Who
And don't you
knows?
love how nobody in the last the last however long has ever mentioned, oh yeah, there's aliens over in this other part of California that
Okay,
live
because it's
with
in
my
California all
family
the
or
time.
something. I don't know. It's stupid.
Okay, because
Oh God.
this show is based in California like all the time. Which I love that tweet that you posted where it was just like, why isn't this show anywhere else but California? Like, can it be in New Zealand? Like, yes, yes. It needs to be somewhere else. Like, I'm so tired of all this shit happening only in California. Like, come on now.
Mm.
Because the rent is way too high for all this shit to be still happening and y'all still here. Like, ain't no way I'm paying all this rent and a monster is stomping through LA. Like, that's just not happening. I'd have been left. Shit. But I'm sorry, Lena. Did you have any any things that you would like to see?
Oh, what I was trying to get in was I would love to see the storyline with Mystic Forest, what happens afterwards. Like after they all, like Nick leaving town and all that stuff. Like I would love to see what happens.
Oh yeah. That's actually a good one. Yeah, because like
Yeah, they never actually
technically
explain.
speaking, those people weren't human.
No.
Yeah.
They never actually
And
explained. They never
you
gave
got all these
anything.
like nope. Nope. And you
Nothing.
got all these fairies and trolls and troblins and shit
Yep.
just roaming around.
Yep. And like even when Xavier came back for Once a Ranger, like they never really gave an insight of what potentially happened afterwards either.
Mm-hmm.
It
You
was
said
just
his
more
name
like,
is Xavier.
yeah, was that his name?
Me, Xander.
Bender.
Like, who is Xavier?
Obviously, this new character.
Xander's son, honey.
I don't even know where I got that name from. So random.
I actually have no clue who you're talking about.
Xander. She
Bender.
said
Oh, man.
Xavier.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Oh, child.
Oh my
Damn.
God, Will.
I'm like, Xavier, what?
There is no
Oh my
Xavier.
goodness.
That's the thing.
That was the thing.
That was the thing. There is no Xavier. Oh my God. No, but it would be funny though, Brennan, if we continue being like, Xavier. Duh.
Right. Just kept it going. Yeah, because Xavier was in Mystic Force.
That would have been funny.
Mystic Force, the Green, Xavier the Green Ranger.
I just thought of something, but what else you got, Lena?
I know we mentioned SPT. I would definitely would have loved to see Tommy Oliver after Dino Thunder. Like what happened to him then?
Mm.
He got a
Because
break, I guess, maybe.
again, we don't know, right? We don't know. We don't know what happened, right? So what I'm saying is like that would have been a cool like thing to sort of see because we kind of knew where all the other characters went afterwards because again, like when Dino Thunder crossover, they did a cute little like this is where I'm at kind of thing, right? So we knew
Yeah.
what
Right.
the actual Rangers were up to, but I don't ever think they ever mentioned Haley or Tommy
Oh,
as to what they gone up to and like where are they in life kind of thing, right? I would have loved to see
Right.
that. And I think I would have loved to see like did Tommy know about that crossover either, was he like in the sense that like was he alerted, like was he still in the know or what was happening, how do they still have their powers, does he still have his powers, like I have all kinds of questions. Like that would have been a cool series to kind of like get into as well too, because like we don't actually know what they did after. Like what is this break? Like
Yeah.
what happened? And obviously we saw him again in Dimensions and Dangers, but again, that doesn't say much as to what happened or as to how he got there. And then obviously every time he did make an appearance again, he was always the green.
mm-hmm.
It was never the
Yeah.
Yeah, it was never the black. And the black would have made more sense because again, like at that point, he would have graduated to the black. Anything before that, I can understand him still being like green or white. Even though the
Yeah.
last color we saw him was really just red. So
Yeah.
And specifically Turbo.
yeah. So I would have loved to see what happened to the the Black Giant gem, right? Or even like that storyline with Trent, whatever happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, like, there is so many potentials with Down Thunder. And I could almost go through every single series and be like, okay, what happened to this? I would love to know this. I just want to know everything, essentially. I
Something else I just thought of. I'm sorry.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, something else you just thought of?
Something else was like after the Rangers lose their powers, which doesn't happen every season. Like what happens? What is the scenario where they have to use them again? Because we've seen like what the Zeo Rangers, of course, they never actually lost their powers and we never really found out what happened there. Then Adam having the damaged Mastodon coin. So you have to imagine that the other Rangers that he was on a team with also still have them, maybe. Um, the Space Rangers, they kept their morphers. How did people get their morphers back after they were destroyed? What missions have been happening for the last 25 years where we have Rangers that are obviously still active, as we saw in the Legendary War and TJ's comment in Dimensions in Danger. Like Lord Draven, I thought we got rid of him ages ago. Like, what? When did that happen? The whole, I think, what was it? The Sentinel Knight. I think, I believe the Sentinel Knight was in, what was that, Overdrive, and he gave the Rangers their powers back.
Overdrive.
I Yeah, I would love to know like where he came from, how he's able to do that, how the Rangers were alerted that they were needed. Like there's so much as far as the previous generations getting their powers back and having all these different missions and stuff that they've been on. I would love to know about that.
Now, the Sentinel Knight was creepy because like this mug was just popping up in random places, like hi, and just was like, because he essentially was a ghost, so he was just like just popping up in people houses and shit. Well, at least that's what he did with whatchamacallit, with Mr. Hartford, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With him, he was just like just popping up in his house all the time. So I can imagine that's probably what he did with them. But to go back to what you were saying with the Space Ranger stuff, I actually would love to see something like that happen with once and always.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did all of y'all get y'all powers back? Because these are specifically the Dino coins, and the Dino coins were
Mm-hmm.
destroyed. So,
Or
what did y'all get these powers from? And I'm
damaged.
hoping that they got it. Well, yeah, technically damaged, but we're teetering the line of destroyed.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, yes, they technically were damaged, but it's like they were basically like they were fucked.
Yeah, and
But
how the hell would Cat have the pterodactyl coin? You would have thought
boom,
that if anybody had it, it would have been Kimberly. So,
it's been
but
Kimberly. So I'm just saying, like, I mean, of course they're definitely gonna probably explain that for sure, but well, I would hope anyway, because my only thing in my head would be okay if they have Cat on the team. Obviously, it would be like Mastodon, Pink Ranger power, Triceratops, Sabertooth,
Mhm.
Tyrannosaurus,
I I have to
because that's
say
what it's given.
I like the fact that they seem to be making sense of the inaccuracy. Whenever you see a picture of Catherine in the last like 15 years with a morpher with the pterodactyl coin or her holding the power bow, like now it can be accurate.
Yeah, no, it really can now. Like it can actually be accurate because she technically in this new special will be wielding the pterodactyl coin, so it makes sense. Like give her coins because and give her flowers because that's what she's doing. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, this is actually pretty exciting. This little Ranger Academy, and also it's going to be its own separate story as well. So Boom is doing big things with Power Rangers. I'm really excited about what Boom is doing. One thing I'm not so excited for though is this little piece of conversation
Right.
that we're
Right.
about to talk about.
Yeah.
Now, the people that we were alluding to originally was Bat and the Sun. Now, I'm pretty sure y'all are familiar with Bat and the Sun. They are the people who produced White Ranger versus Scorpion, Green Ranger versus Ryu. Those little short battles, I think it was called Superpower Beatdown, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they were the people who initially created that. And basically, they also were the people who produced and made Legend of the White Dragon. Now, before Jason David Frank passed, I'm pretty sure that everybody remembers basically him saying that he was no longer going to be pushing the character Tommy Oliver, and now he will be basically pushing Eric Reed because he was, basically promoting, you know, the Legend of the White Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, this is not going to be a, situation. It's not going to be a conversation rehashing the death of JDF or anything like that. So this is not that kind of conversation. So if you think that that's what it's going to be, nah. But what we're actually talking about is a comment that was made in a conversation. So I'm not exactly sure where this conversation is coming from. But this snippet, it was a screenshot that had been going around Twitter, basically coming from Bat and the Sun in a conversation where they basically explained, and I will read. They were responding to someone saying, in the end, Jason hated the character Lord Draken and all he stood for. He symbolized so much betrayal from everyone involved. He always talked favorably towards the character publicly because he never wanted to insult or hurt the fans, but he really hated the character. It's why he removed the video from his YouTube channel and unfriended so many involved. Thoughts? What do you all think about this?
Okay.
Why would you make that public? Because the people that worked on that are still like around, and they actually did have relationships with JDF to a certain degree. I don't understand why you thought that was something that you would make public.
I mean, and furthermore, why is this only being brought up after his death? Like, how do I say this? Like, I'm very annoyed when people bring things up when the person is no longer here to defend themselves or to actually say what the we don't know for sure if this is what he believes or this is what he thinks, whatever. We don't know that, right? But what I do know is that I hate it when I see stuff like this where things just come up after their death, after they're gone, and they can't defend themselves. And it's just like, why is this being brought up now? I'm sorry. Like, why? We don't know the real reason. There's no obviously real reason that proof that this is a true comment. But at the same time, like, why? I just still don't understand why you're creating conversation around using a person to sort of like, I feel like in a way it is promoting themselves.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it irks me so much. Whether or not this is true, I don't know. But if that is the case, that is still his thoughts. If that was real, these are still his thoughts, and he's very much entitled to his own opinion. And if that was true, it's unfortunate to hear that. But at the same time, like, in all fairness, from the outside world, he was eating it up. He was definitely using Lord Dragon in every means possible to promote himself when he was around. And I'm not saying like I'm not trying to take away what he really did. I'm not trying to take away from his comment, but at the same time, like, this is what we're seeing. So based on what we're seeing, based on where this comment is coming from, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't coincide. And it irks me so much. Whether or not the real reason why he ended up like not wanting to promote Tommy Oliver, we have our theories as to why, but that's not neither here or there, nor is it important to the fact that this person has now passed, and some of us are still really dealing with this a lot harder, and his family is still dealing with this. So why is this being thrown in the mix to try to promote yourself?
Yeah.
That's what disgusts me so much. That is disgusting. That's not needed, and there's no place for it here.
That's boom. Mic drop. Period. You hit the nail on the head for me. Because one of the things that really bothered me was this really felt like self-promotion. Because my thing is, I understand that you're out here trying to still push this movie because technically, like from my understanding, it was always slated for the movie to come out around this time, around well next month in March. Unless pretty much things have probably changed. Obviously, I'm not on the team working with the movie. I have no idea. But originally, from what I've heard, the movie was supposed to be was starting to maybe come out around about March or something like that of this year. Um, and obviously that may be pushed back due to his passing. However, we all know that JDF loved his fans. Like that is just something that is undoubtedly 100% true. Like this is something that is like something that JDF has always let people know. He is 100% for his fans. So to me, if you really valued this man and you really valued his legacy, you really valued what he left behind, why would you say something like that? Because this is where the man got his bread and butter. This is where where he became a household name. So people don't know Eric Reed. They know Tommy Oliver. They don't know Eric Reed. So the fact that and plus, like fans of all ages, fans of like all different iterations, like of Tommy, like everybody knew JDF for Tommy Oliver. So to say something publicly, like even though it was on Facebook, it's now going around the internet now. So it's like to say something like that to me is a slap in the face. Now, of course, you can always argue any type of publicity is good publicity, whether good or bad. However, to me, using someone's legacy to promote a movie, because that's what it feels like. I'm not saying that they're doing that, but to do something like that, to say something like that for somebody like Lena said, who's not here to defend himself or not here to give a fully clarified statement as to what he is saying. Because listen, some things, no matter what, like if this is something that was said in the group chat or whatever, it needs to be left in the group chat. It should never be, put out to the real world. So this feels like a conversation that should have been left in the group chat, not
sure.
out to the real world. Hell, what you say?
Yeah, I totally agree.
What you
Yeah,
say, Will?
I totally agree.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, yeah. Yeah, no, like that's all I'm saying. It's just like I really genuinely feel like this conversation should have been for the group chat. It should have never been spoken. It should have never left their ears. It should have never went public. So now people are gonna be looking at Lord Draken, you know what I'm saying, all cross-eyed and stuff, because it's like, oh well, JDF ain't ever wanted to support this character. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, come on now. Like to me, it's just something about that just rubs me the wrong way. And I like maybe perhaps he didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? But that's not your business and that's not your right to tell something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not your right. You don't get to do that. And that's not fair to his legacy. That's not fair to his fans. It's just wrong. It's just really wrong, and like I don't like it. I really don't like it. I'm hoping, honestly, like, and if this is for promotion or anything like that, if it is, and this is no shade at all, if it is for a promotion, I really hope that y'all get all the views and all the coinage and or whatever from this product. I really do. Because at the end of the day, this was JDS's baby. So I hope you get all the success, but at the same time, doing stuff like that, especially for somebody who's no longer here, doing and saying stuff like that, that karma is never good.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm gonna say on that. That karma is never good. So, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because I just felt like that to me was just like that was hella shady. I was like, why would you say that about someone who's why would you like say these things? Like this person is no longer here. So obviously you would want them to have like a long lasting positive, positive reputation so that people can be like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Not be like, oh yeah, guess what? He hated that character that he played, like, or that character that he represented. Like, it was just like, come on now. Like, and it was no secret that he did get he was annoyed with the Power Rangers franchise before he passed. Yes, he was. Because I don't know whether y'all heard the audio that came out when it was leaked. Well, not really leaked. Well, yeah, that audio was leaked, I guess, but it came from a podcast. Was it Ranger Danger podcast? It was somebody that interviewed him, and he basically was like Hasbro reached out to him and was like they wanted his voice for a morpher, but originally it was going to be the White Ranger morpher, the White Ranger movie morpher, and he was like, "No, if you're going to have me re-record something, it's going to be for the Master Morpher." So that's how we know that a Master Morpher might be coming. But he was like, "Yes, I if you want me to re-record my lines, I'm only going to do it for the Master Morpher." So you know but he talked about it in such like you know what I'm saying, like it wasn't really like he was all that happy about it when he was talking about it. So it was just like, okay, we know that there was some sort of disdain that he had for the franchise, but this wasn't the way to go about it. Like there's certain things, like I said before, certain things that you could have left in the group chat. Just my opinion. Anything else y'all want to add?
No,
I don't think so.
you pretty much cover it. I think the only thing like that I would definitely say is that him being annoyed with the whole franchise, I felt like it was just more it seemed like he was just trying to gain more out of it himself. So it doesn't seem like it was something he hated it. It was just more like he couldn't have the control that he once had when he was with Hasbro. Sorry, not Hasbro.
Saban.
Saban. Yeah. Because I felt like Saban gave him such a free range for him to do pretty much whatever he wanted. And
Mhm.
he took that and ran with it. But now Hasbro's like, well, no, we're gonna do things our way. Which I'm like, you know what? Good. Good. Because the whatever Saban was doing, it was not it. It was just not it. You know?
Yeah.
You just reminded me of something. I remember. I don't know if it was from the same thing, but he had said something in the interview, or it might have been a panel. It might have been at a con. He mentioned how he didn't want to. He was sick of coming back, having to cover up his tattoos and shave.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I'm not sure where it came from, but I do remember him saying that for sure.
Yeah,
I do remember that.
which now we're seeing that the male rangers that have facial hair, or the actors that have facial hair that are older, they're keeping it for this 30th anniversary thing. So that's interesting. But I don't know. It seemed like I always did wonder about what the annoyance was on his part. like why he. I had to be more than that, but I guess some of the stuff that we kind of speculate about some of the stuff. So I don't know. This whole situation's messy. I don't like I said before, like you guys have said, I don't think that is tasteful for them to let out that information when he's not here anymore. And the fans obviously love that character, so like to hear something like that could like hurt some of them. I don't know, just not a
Yeah,
good look.
absolutely, absolutely. Because let's be very clear. As much as we talk when we would do our comic sessions and we would talk about Lord Draken, we were annoyed. We were annoyed with that character. Let's be very clear. However, like there are fans. There are a lot of fans actually that love Lord Draken. And let's be very clear. I'm not gonna hold you. Like the original Lord Draken from like Shattered Grid, before we got all the way down to where we are now from the last time we saw the character. Like Shattered Grid Lord Draken, when he was going around murking mugs, yes, that mug was fire. You know what I'm saying? So, me personally, I enjoy Lord Draken. Like, let's be very clear. Like, I definitely love that tape because Mug was out here shanking his other versions of himself. Like, he was going dimension to dimension, being like, "Hey, yo, Tommy, come here. I want to talk to you. Shank, 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 shank." You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Mug was out here shanking hoes. So I'm like, yes, I'm here for it. So, and this was a different side of Power Rangers that, Power Rangers took a sharp left. Like it was just, it went way out into the ether, which was something that we never seen. And that is probably one of the biggest parts of the comic that people love. So yes, Lord Draken is a huge character. Is a very huge character and a very cool character. So the fact that JDF was like, maybe he didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, like just like that character just meant so much to a lot of people. It's like basically if you know that kind of information, keep that to yourself. Keep that to yourself. Like nobody wants to know that, especially many fans thinking that he enjoyed it, especially if it's true. Many fans are thinking he enjoyed that character and he enjoyed everything about it. So to now put that out there or put that bug in their ear of no, he actually didn't like it and he was just faking the funk in front of you all, that's not okay. And potentially that could backfire and blow up in your face for the reason why you put that out there. It almost kind of feels like self promotion, but also kind of feels like self sabotage. Like, why would you do that?
Oh, absolutely, right? Because like the fandom can go one of two ways about it. But bottom line is it's still not cool to put random statements like they're out there when the person can no longer defend themselves. Like it's just still not cool, you know?
Exactly.
It's
Exactly. And that's my issue with it too.
like it's disgusting. When I saw that, I just looked at it and I was like, what is happening? Like what in the world? I don't I genuinely don't understand, like why? Just why?
Yeah.
Um
That's the main question. It's just like, why?
and then of
Why would
course
you do
now,
that?
right now I feel like there's gonna be so many more people coming out of nowhere now being like this and that and blah blah blah. And the downside is like we don't even know what to believe anymore.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
um like I know we've heard some stuff about his death that recently came out too, and I don't know what to believe, honestly. Like I genuinely say this in a sense that like we everyone's upset and everyone's grieving and mourning in different ways, in their own ways. And you know what? Death does a funny thing to people, especially the way they go. It does a real funny thing
Hmm.
to people. So like I'm not out here being like, oh, this person's wrong, this person's wrong, this person's wrong. You're invalid, you're invalid. No. Everyone's feelings is validated. But unfortunately, all the energy is being directed in the wrong way,
Yeah.
and I just feel like with social media, with the internet and everything, it just becomes too much and it becomes a lot. And I feel that people should understand this and just take it as a grain of salt and be like, whatever, we're not going to entertain this because this is what's happening, Um, but we entertain everything that comes our way, and I don't know why,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like, and then of course the talk of being like, well, it should be like this, it should be like that. Well, you know what? A lot of things should be like a lot of things, but doesn't necessarily mean it's all black and white. It
That's
just,
the truth.
it just isn't. It's everyone is dealing with it in their own ways. And I say this sincerely. Like, I remember the other day, somebody was freaking pissing me off. He kept trying to tell me that there's this whole conspiracy that he believes is happening in the Power Ranger world, that everyone in Power Rangers just dies. And
Oh,
he was
that's
like,
odd.
yeah, it was really odd. So he kept like bringing up. So I'm like, okay, well, who just quote unquote dies? So he was like, well, this person. I'm like, well, this person is X, Y, Z. And he's like, well, this person. I'm like, well, this person X, Y. And it got to a point where I was like, you're starting to really annoy the crap out of me. And there is no conspiracy. Unfortunately, life does happen. Unfortunately, people do have certain illnesses, certain things, old age, whatever. Like these things happen.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the Power Rangers fandom is such a huge, not fandom, sorry, the world is such a huge fandom in the sense that there's so many actors and actresses, and like there's so many series that we've gone through. There's different characters, like it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a conspiracy of like, oh, because you're the Power Rangers, you're gonna die.
Right.
Oh, so they met like as cursed, like for the
Yeah.
actor.
Well, no,
Mm.
like not just like the main characters, like everybody. Like they
Like
were,
for the actors in general, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it was just sort of annoying me because it it's everybody. It's not just it's everybody,
Mhm.
literally. It just so happens that again, the franchise is so big. There's been so many years of it that it does seem like there's so many people dying in the world. And sorry, not in the Power
Yeah,
Ranger world, but that's not,
yeah.
you
People
know,
die. People die like
it
that
yeah,
every day. It happens.
It
exactly. It
happens.
happens. And it was just pissing me off. And I was like, if you came to me and said, there's a curse of being a Red Ranger, you know what? At this point, I'll buy it. I'll buy it. Because we already know. We already know, like we already know what's happening. Like, if you came to me and said that to me, I would have been like, no, I'll bite it. I'll take I'll see what you have to say about this. I'll bite the bait on that one, because there's a lot of things that are happening in the Red Ranger suit, not like exactly, but y'all know what I'm talking about, right? But like,
Hmm, hmm.
shit happens. But people dying is not a thing that's a curse. It just happens. And it is unfortunate.
And I also think too, what people don't realize, this show is 30 years old. These actors, when they came on the show, were like 18, 19, 20. 30 plus 50. Do the math. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, stuff
Hmm.
happens. And I mean, like you said, like people die. That's just the way life works. Like nobody is meant to be here forever. You know what I'm saying? And the characters that they played will be immortalized. Like these characters aren't going anywhere. Like they're going to keep going even after the actors aren't hearing anymore. Obviously, we know this to be true because the comics are still going and Trini is still being immortalized. Tommy is being immortalized now. So obviously, these characters are still going to be going. Their stories will still be told. So
Hmm.
the idea of this like, oh, Power Rangers is cursed or whatever, that's just dumb. Like that you're just basically living life, you know what I'm saying? And I just want to go back to one thing that you said earlier, which was about trauma. Like JDF meant a lot to a lot of people, So it makes a lot of sense that people would feel away. People would feel away. People would be, really upset. People are just like, oh my goodness, like, and I see it. I still see it all the time on either Facebook or Twitter, or shoot, even sometime on our page on Instagram. Like, we'll post something and somebody, it has nothing to do with, the passing of JDF, but they'll see anything Mighty Morphin and it'll be, rest in peace JDF. Like, people are
Mm-hmm.
still dealing with this. So, and they're probably going to be dealing with it for a while because,
Yeah.
grief has no time period, and everybody, deals with things in their own particular way. However, like, I'm not telling you how to grieve, but also there is a way of grieving where you can, like, literally grieve, but not be out here making it harder or saying other things that could possibly make it difficult for someone else. Does that make any sense? Like, your
Yeah.
grieving process doesn't have to be on the internet. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
It
God. So
doesn't have to be on the
no, it
internet.
doesn't. And
Like,
it's funny you said, sorry, just a real quick thought.
oh, go for
I
it,
was
go for
actually,
it, because
sorry,
I was done.
I was heading towards this thought and I totally forgot. When you're saying like your agreement doesn't have to be on the internet, you hit it like, the nail on the coffin. And the thing I wanted to add to that, the reason why I started on was that really random rant was that I don't know JDF personally. Obviously, we met him a few times. And I've always said this. I had a great time meeting him, and he would always, always leave me with such a positive memory when I met him, right? Um, when that dude was bringing up to me being like, there's a curse and blah blah blah, that was the day it hit me that I realized that JDF was gone. And I started crying. And
Oh.
I'm slowly crying now because like I didn't I'm losing my words, but yeah,
Mhm.
sorry.
It's okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still like I keep looking at pictures of him because obviously in my explore page and then on our podcast page is all Power Rangers. So and it's just like and I have where I have two Tommy figures up on my shelf. It's still like what?
Yeah.
I mean, and it's only been a couple of months, but uh it's so hard to believe and it's so hard to it's hard to process, you know?
It is. And like, so really,
Yeah.
like, maybe it's daunting me now too, right? So I think that's kind of why it's making me so upset that, like, why the heck do people need to do stuff like this? It's just so not
Yeah.
needed. Like I said, I don't know him personally, but it just hit me again. And it hit me that day that, like, he was gone. Like, he's actually gone.
And it's
Yeah.
so sad because, he has a family that sees the things that people are saying. There's there's a lot going on with that situation. Where I think
Yes.
fans are kind of maybe not kind of, fans are overstepping
Or
boundaries. And there's stuff going on with his family, uh, publicly. So it's just a lot.
personally, I just never talk about that part of his situation. A,
Yeah.
because I don't know these people like that. B, I
Right.
also don't want to, so obviously I want to respect them, but also
Mm-hmm.
B, it's just so messy and taxing. Like, just the stuff
Mm-hmm.
I've been reading and the interviews I've been listening to, like, it's gut wrenching. Like, I do an interview from Sky, and that
Yeah.
thing almost brought me to tears. Like, listening to her
My
side of the
mouth,
story,
mouth
it was
dropped.
just so much
Yeah.
dropped. Like, literally, like my mouth dropped, my stomach dropped. I'm like, yo, like, this is heartbreaking. So, it's one of those things where I'm like, and obviously everybody's telling their own side. So I'm not saying anybody is lying. I'm not saying anybody is telling the truth. Because the way I see it, it's always three sides to every story. The two opposing sides and the truth. So I'm not picking sides. I'm not saying, this person is lying, this person is telling the truth, whatever, whatever, whatever. But my thing is, when you're dealing with someone who is no longer here, be extremely careful with how you reverence them, especially when you're promoting something that has them attached to it. You know what I'm saying? Because they still have fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if you're trying to do like a positive promotion and all that kind of stuff. Like, or hell, even if you wanna, you yourself is like, hey, I'm trying to, express how I feel. Because going back to what I was saying earlier, a lot of people are venting and getting it out and going through their grief on the internet. So even if you would like to get that out on the internet and say whatever you wanted to say, still exercise caution, because at the end of the day, like, you don't want whatever you're going to say to trigger someone else. Because I've seen some wild stuff. I'm not even going to hold you. Like, since he's passed, like, I've seen some wild stuff come from fans, and it's just like, I need y'all to chill out. Like, I understand you're upset. I understand that you're still, processing it. You're upset. You're traumatized. I get all of that. But, like, also at the same time, some of this stuff, once again, going back to what I said with Bat in the Sun, some of that stuff belongs in the group chat. It does not belong on the internet. Like, it just doesn't. And I just need for people to understand that, yes, you can feel all of these things. No one is saying that you can't feel anger. No one is saying that you can't process things in your own way or promote in your own way. However, you still have to recognize that this is someone that was really important to a lot of people. And you don't want to ruin the experience that someone else had out of you trying to do whatever you're doing on your end, whether that's to heal or whether that's to promote or whatever have you. Like, you don't want to ruin the experience for someone else, and that's just it is what it is. And I do think that, and this is a separate conversation for another day, but as of late, me personally, I've seen an uptick in just a lot of things in general, just a lot of things that people have been doing and then putting on the internet for people to hear, whether that's like their own opinions on things or whatever have you. And it's like, it's getting people in trouble, like, badly. Like, it's getting people into a lot of trouble, them just saying things on the internet. And of course, this has been always been happening, but I don't know, this past week has been a little weird. And I'm like, I know that we're in Pisces season for any astrologers out there. We are in Pisces season. So, like, Pisces season is like letting all your feelings out. But it's like it's just been like an outpour of just like word vomiting and them just like saying things. And it's like, yo, y'all might need to dial it down a little bit, because like, you're saying things to get yourself in trouble now. So it's just kind of like, I just need for people just to be mindful of how they say things, how they report things. Speaking of reporting things, I don't know whether y'all have heard about this or seen this, but allegedly, and this is some side news real fast. Allegedly, Heckle from Dino Charge is supposed to be coming back in
Oh yeah,
Dino Cosmic Fury as Heckle, aka the Dark Ranger. Did y'all see that?
I saw that.
Y'all see that
Yeah.
going
Yeah,
around?
Yes, I saw that.
What do y'all think about that?
that's cool because
What do
we
y'all think
never
about
got to
that?
see the Dark Ranger on because he got the Energem at the end. We got to see it in the comic. That's not our favorite comic, but it'd be cool to see him in live action. I think that's pretty cool.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm me personally, I am excited on one hand, and on the other hand, I keep thinking about Beyond the Grid, and then I get upset.
Mm.
I start getting upset because they did wrong. They did heckle wrong. And, like, listen, I understand Marguerite had, she was giving these characters and not much meat to chew on. She was just giving these characters and they were just like, all right. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what it felt like. It just kind of felt like she was just giving this that she knew nothing about and was like, hey, write a story about it. So, she did the best that she could, but damn, like, woo, boy, did heckle. I would have loved to have seen Dark Ranger be used in a different way. So hopefully, if they do present the Dark Ranger in Cosmic Fury, hopefully they do them right and they give us some cool stuff. Now, one thing for sure is that Simon Bennett and Arundel and Becca Barnes did say that that was one of the reasons why they decided that they were going to create brand new suits was because they didn't have to depend. They could tell the story they want, and they didn't have to depend on Sentai footage to match it. So, hey, I'm excited. I'm hoping that this story is going to be great. It seems like it will. It seems like it will. So we're putting out positive vibes and and putting it out into the universe that hopefully it's gonna be good. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that because whew, Cosmic Fury, I'm rooting for you, girl. I'm rooting for you.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for you. But you know what? Though sidebar before we get to Dino Fury, I just want to say for real, the more I look at these suits, the more they don't bother me. They don't bother me no more. And I mean, they never really did bother me, not like that. I don't know. Like the more I look at them, because I remember, I don't know if y'all remember last episode. I was like, now that we've seen more, official photos of the suits, like now people are going to be changing their tunes. And I said it jokingly, but also I wasn't joking, but I I said it jokingly. And sure enough, I was right. Like people, like a lot of people started changing their minds and was like, "Oh my god, like I love these suits," or "Oh my gosh, they're really cool. I like them." And it's like this is something that I've been saying the entire time: is that sometimes people just need to see the thing
Yep.
instead of like digital imaging or
Yeah.
something like that. Like they need to see the thing because honestly those suits don't look that bad. Like they really
No.
don't. Now I
I
understand
personally
from
have always liked them.
go
So
ahead.
I said I personally have always liked them. So yeah.
Yeah, like I mean my thing was I was just from the little drawing, I was always wanting to see them like physically, like see them actually physically, see them moving, stuff like that before I made my decision. Because like even with Sentai, when you see the magazine images, like most of the time when you see that, it's like, I don't know. Like it's giving real, this is interesting, I guess. I guess this is how they're gonna look. So normally most of the time I'm always just kind of like, I wait to see the move. but at least I have an idea of what the new season is going to be. But I'd wait to see them move instead. Because like the picture is one thing, but seeing them move is something completely different. And even when they did the little they revealed them finally, like it still didn't do anything for me in a sense because like I still didn't get a good idea, like a good like look at the suits. And then this most recently when Tessa during Tessa's birthday and all the other pictures popped up, it was like, oh, this is how they actually look under the right lighting, under stuff like that. And it's like, oh, they actually do look good. Like they actually do look decent. So it's like just stop being so afraid of change. Stop being so afraid of change. Like it's okay. It's okay to do things differently. I'm off my soapbox now. I just had to get that out there. I just had to get that out there. Um, but speaking of the Cosmic Fury cast, we are also going to be talking about Dino Charge tonight. Episodes 20 and 21. Woo! Now, now 21. Let's talk about it. No, 20. Sorry. Episode 20 of Dino Fury, The Invasion. A band of Rafconians arrive looking to colonize Earth, but the Rangers talk them into joining forces to stop the Void Queen's sports beast. Now, this synopsis is a little misleading because the Rangers didn't exactly talk them into joining forces because they were ready to pull a little pilgrimage and and do some strange things for a little piece of change to colonize Earth. I'm just saying. So thoughts. What do y'all think about this episode?
Oh, so when I watched it, and this is before I saw 21, I thought that this was the best episode of the entire, like even season one. Like
Oh
great.
wow. Wow.
I
Okay.
oh man, like I oh my god, like there felt like there was some stakes. It felt like the Rangers were actually in danger. There were revelations. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I
Okay.
I was surprised. So it was a very good episode. I was just surprised, like when the Raccoonian showed up and they seemed like they were really nice, and then out of nowhere they're like, "We're taking over Earth." I'm like, "Wait, what? Like what?
Right.
Like what is happening right now?" I thought y'all supposed to be nice people. Like what the heck? I thought you're supposed to serve and protect. Like what the shit is this? And the way they're talking about humans, I'm just like, you
I,
know. This is why we can't live in harmony. I'm kidding.
I was about to say I thought you were about to say that you kind of agreed with what she said because I actually did. I
I
don't
did.
think that we deserve. Yeah, I don't think that we deserve to be freaking slaves. I don't think any human does, but I definitely agreed that humans are trash.
Oh no, I mean humans are trash. We already know this, but like at the end of the day, we can't change what we can't control. Like
Mm-hmm.
we can
Mm-hmm.
change, but the majority of us can't control that. Um
Mm-hmm.
Colonizing us is not gonna be the answer either.
Right. Right.
So it's just like it's only gonna create fiction, and fiction is never good. So there's no right or wrong answer to it, but like obviously colonizing us is definitely a wrong answer. But and colonizing anyone really, right? But like
Right.
it's just Yeah, no, we're definitely trash. Like we are scums of the earth. Like we're not the cleanest beings alive. But to be fair, we don't know how other species are living, so we can't really
Mhm.
compare, you know? But it would be funny to kind of like to see if aliens really truly does exist, what that looks like for us.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Like, and to go back to what you were saying, like, I most certainly agree with her. Like, when she was talking about humans, I'm like, yeah, humans are trash. Like, humans are terrible. Like, we do all of these things that you said and more. Um, like, and I could tell that when they were writing that part, when they were, doing that part specifically and were probably creating her lines, like I'm pretty sure they had to go through like rough draft after rough draft after rough draft and just start like shaving stuff off before they got like to the bare bones of what she was trying to say. Because like there's so much that if I was an alien and I'm sitting here looking at the way Earthlings are on their planet, I would be talking mad shit. You feel me? Like I would be talking shit. Like y'all out here being racist towards each other. Y'all destroying the earth. Global warming is real. Like it's like I would just be going down the line like y'all are terrible. Like
Mhm.
just going down the line. But of course, like obviously, like I said, this is Power Rangers, so they ain't gonna do all that. But like, I would totally be sitting here looking at her. I would totally be sitting there looking at the Rangers, like, yeah, like I understand why y'all are so hopeful for these people. They're terrible. They're terrible people. So I actually did enjoy that. I enjoyed that moment. Um, Speaking of moments, what moments? Because I know Will, you were saying that you really enjoyed this episode. Other than those moments that you stated, those reasons that you stated, what moments made you, be like, okay, this is probably one of the best like episodes I've seen from this show.
I think I liked uh the pacing and the way that the story went. Just the flow of it. Like I said before, just oh my god, so it escalated. We see the Rafconians come to Earth, and it's just like, oh my god, there's more Rafconians. We find out that they did well. First off, they actually they brought up the fact that there were fake Rafconians at one point that came to Earth claiming, that they
Mm-hmm.
were. I love that they brought that up, but those are actual Rafconians this time. I like that. Oh God, what was the first thing that happened? Oh yeah, they mentioned Zato was saying like I sent out distress calls and did you get any of them? And they did get them, but they thought that they were a hoax because Zato is 65 million years old. So how the hell would he be sending
Right.
any message? I like that. And then when we found out the plans of them to colonize Earth, and Zato and Ion were not with that at all, and then it looked like they were about to throw down in Dino Hinge in the base. And then we got the Void Queen's plan. Her big plan was to make all the sporks that she stole into an army of sporks beasts, which she did. So that got the Rangers and the Ravconians to join forces for the moment to take on the Sporks beasts, which if they weren't able to defeat them, that nobody would have Earth. Um, So there's just, oh my god, it was just like it was really like a meaty episode. There was so much happening, and I felt like it actually was tight with the writing and with everything that they did. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Um, what was her name? Oria. She was the general. She got to see while fighting the sporks beasts, she got to see human beings helping each other get to safety. She saw that some of them were being interrupted planting trees, so she could see that they were doing something for the environment. Then Pop Pop actually saved her from being killed, basically. So like she got to see that humans, some humans at least, aren't so bad. Oh my god, what happened to Pop Pop? Like him getting, oh my god, he got brutalized. Like that was
He got
something
rocked.
else. Yeah, and then he was basically on his deathbed. Not exactly, but we thought it was. And he had that moment with Amelia at the end of the episode, and then that capped it off on like, oh my god, there's so much happening here.
I think he would have. Honestly, if it wasn't for so long, I think he would have died. To be
Yeah,
honest with you.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
He would have
yeah.
died because the way he got hit, oh, he
Oh,
would have died.
mm-hmm.
He would
And
have
they
died for
actually
sure.
and they showed they showed that he was injured. He was bruised. He could barely breathe.
Like he was fucked up. And the thing is, now I'm not gonna hold you. Like, yes, and I know what they were trying to do. They were obviously trying to show like, oh, humans aren't what she said that they were, and they weren't exactly bad people. But I'm sorry, what he did was stupid. It was dumb. I understand, like I said, I understand what the purpose was behind it, but that shit was dumb. Like it was stupid.
I
Like
mean, you're
I'm
acting like that's not a characteristic of Pop Pop. He does
yes,
dumb
he does
shit.
dumb shit. Like that's just it's true, he does. But it's just like, dude, like my thing is if you literally just saw this thing chop the shovel in half, the way I would have dropped that shit and ran, like that's what you do. You don't stand there. Like, what are we doing? Like, well, of course
Mhm.
he's Pop, so he has to, make his little quirky joke, and he's like, "Oh, this thing said that it was supposed to be indestructible." No, it's like, nah, bruh, run. Like, what are we doing? Like, but you know, that was the only thing about that scene that took it away from me. Was just like, why did you stand there? Like, like what was the reason? Why would you stand there? And another thing that kind of also made me a little upset with him because I'm gonna tell you right now, the episode to me, I'm right where you are. Like, this is probably one of the best episodes of Dino Fury for sure. My only, but aside from that situation, my other gripe was when Void Queen and the other sports beasts came and they started attacking, um, everybody ran away. He's the only one that ran behind a tree.
Mhm.
Everybody else was like, we're getting the fuck out of here. Like, we're like, they were like, we're getting out of this whole location. Like, we are out of here. And he was the only one that was like, well, let me hide behind this tree. It's like, no, get away from there. Like, what are you doing? So like it was just like everything he did in that whole moment, in all those collections of scenes before he got hurt, everything he did was stupid. It was just like, and I understand Pop is a eccentric character, but like it just felt like they really made him stupid in this moment. Like, why would you have him do that? because like none of his choices made sense. It was just like, and I understand, okay, yeah, he may be scared, blah, 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 blah. But it was obvious when they appeared, they could have basically shot every last one of those people. Like they could have killed them all if that was the intention. You know what I'm saying? Because those people were running and there was nothing to block them. There was nothing to shield them. So if those people if they really wanted to hurt those people, they could have easily hurt those people. But you're going to run and hide behind the tree? Come on. Like that to me was just like, bruh, like, what are we doing? So I mean, I understand all of it was set up, so that he can get hurt and blah, 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 blah. Understand all that. It's okay. But I mean, it wasn't enough to make me hate the episode, but it was just like a head scratcher where it was just like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Mm-hmm. One of the things that I really actually enjoyed about this episode was just what I really enjoyed was the parts where, first of all, before I even say this, the Rathconian suits, you can tell this show ain't had a budget anymore. Like this stuff came at the very last minute, and they said, you know what? We need stuff for the Rathconians. Oh shit, we don't have anything for them. They said, bet. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna get dirt bike armor. We're gonna put some spandex underneath that shit, and we gonna give old girl a pop collar, and they're gonna be Rathconians today. And we're gonna go back to the 90s, and we're gonna get the little digital belts. Because all I was waiting, not 90s, the early 2000s. Because, okay, did you have one of those belts? Did any of y'all have one of those belts?
I really wanted one.
Tell you right now, I had one. I had one of those. And like, I didn't know how to change it. So I had the lady at the mall like set it up for me, and it only said my name. But I never knew how to change it because I knew mugs was changing their belts all the time. Like they was like changing their belts to like random messages and just like all type of stuff. And I didn't know how to do it, so I was like, "Fuck it, just make it my name." And so she did. But other than that, like, oh my gosh, like that is what those belts reminded me of. They reminded me of those, of those belts from the early 2000s. And I'm just like, what is this? Like, what are we doing? Because I was just like, wow, y'all, is this what we doing? Y'all didn't have a budget anymore because that was a choice. Those Rathconian outfits, like that was a choice y'all made. But no, one of the things that really stuck out to me was the different monsters, not different, the monsters that they brought back. They were just throwing back little gems, like bringing back little throwbacks, because one of the monsters that they defeated was from the episode where Izzy had that little situation with the tech, and she lied about knowing about technology, and Ollie got up her ass about it. Like the little rock monster with the twin brother. Like before he died on this episode, he said the same thing. He was like something about his brother or something like that, or like what happened to my brother or something like that. It's just like, wow, we're doing this again. So it's like I actually enjoyed that, the little throwbacks and stuff. Like I actually enjoyed that. I was like, oh wow, cool, good job, y'all. Like y'all doing the Lord's work. I enjoy it. Good job. Anything else about this episode that y'all wanted to talk about before we move on to the last one?
Nope, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So episode 21, The Truth. As citizens flee in the wake of the Sporix Beast invasion, the Rangers find an energy cocoon created by the Void Queen that could destroy Pine Ridge. Now, tell me, what do you think about this? What do y'all think about this episode?
Like, then it's just like even more just adding on to it. Oh my God, like it has to be like 4 consecutive episodes, including the finale in 1919, I believe, where everything's connected. I don't feel like we've seen it be so serialized in a long time. The Sporix beasts, or the whenever they're destroyed, and they become the Sporix again, they're being added to Void Queen's cocoon, which I'm assuming is making it even stronger. And they're saying like they can't move it. It's going to blow, and it's going to like destroy up to like the 30-mile radius. It's once again stakes and a threat, an actual threat. Like this is really, I'm not used to this. It's been a while since we've seen
that. No, for real. Like this episode for me, oh man, like this episode, I was like, first of all, when they did this simulation of like, what could actually happen with Void Queen and everything, it was like, yo, like just to know that explosion, what it could potentially do to Pine Ridge, was just like, yo, oh snap, like this is real. And the people were like, we got to get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I'm wondering is, for those of us who watched, who have seen The Last of Us, I don't know if y'all have seen it yet.
Okay, don't tell me nothing. I have not seen it because I can't get it here in Canada yet. Not that I know of. I'm sure there's
shit.
I just don't know how to get it like properly without having to use extra channels,
Mm-hmm. Got you. Because the reason why I say that is because, like, in my head, when I'm thinking of people evacuating a city, especially really fast, in like a really fast manner, all I can think of is, okay, everybody's going to be on the freeway. Like everybody's going to be on the freeway. What is that going to look like? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure it was bumper to bumper. Like, people were stuck. They couldn't move. All I can think of is that one scene from Power Rangers in Space where the asteroid was going to hit Angel Grove, and like people were panicking, and the Space Rangers was trying to stop the asteroid before it hit the planet, and like people were all like running through the streets, cars were like gridlocked, and that one black lady is cussing somebody out, like, you know what I'm saying, like. That is all I'm thinking about. So I'm like, so I'm just sitting here like, yo, like this has to be happening in this scene. And that is all I needed. Like, I just needed a scene like that. Hell, if they ripped it from Power Rangers in Space, I would not have been mad. Like, I wouldn't have been mad about it.
I was thinking about the scene in Buffy season 7 where everybody's trying to get out of Sunnydale, and it's just this traffic jam. I think isn't Buffy like walking in the expressway, or is it like backed up to like Main Street of Sunnydale?
I think it was backed up. It was backed up, and she's like walking through.
Mm-hmm.
Like a badass, like,
yeah, it's. I had so much fun.
Like this episode, like it was so freaking crazy, and like you can tell, like they did a really good job with just establishing panic and just like, okay, like shit is getting real. Like it's like the only thing that was missing was actually seeing the disarray, actually seeing the panicking. Like that was the only thing for me that was missing. other than that, like I just enjoyed this episode so much. Like the way they established, like, okay, Boy Queen is creating this cocoon. Like, we don't know exactly what could happen if this thing blow up. Like, it has the potential of like leveling the entire city. Like, I mean, it was just like, yo, we haven't seen this kind of like this type of potential destruction in Power Rangers for a while. Like, and I know that they kind of tried to step away from it because of the whole 9/11 situation. Hence why a lot of scenes in Super Sentai with like buildings exploded, they wouldn't make it over here. So they kind of like cut those scenes out, kind of thing. Because they didn't want to like, trigger anybody or anything like that. But just the fact that they were like, yo, like, this is the thing. Like, these sporks, like, should this shit, should shit go down, like, it could be over. It can be over for you hoes. Like, I mean, that's it. So I love that they established that kind of emergency for the finale. Like, I love that. Like, yes, this is what we need more of. Like, give us urgency. Because that's, to me, I don't know about y'all, but that's one thing Power Rangers has been missing in their finales for years.
Yes, I was thinking that too.
For years. Thank you. Like, I'm so glad that I'm not the only one thinking this, because like it just always felt like these finales they lack urgency. It's just like there's no stakes. I think you said earlier, like it felt like it had stakes. There were no stakes in a lot of the past seasons. Like it was just like, even with Dino Charge, like they try to create stakes with sucking the earth into a black hole, but it was like what? You know what I'm saying? Like, like that's not creating urgency. That's just dumb. Like, what are we doing? But you just killed like billions of people. Like, what the hell? But but um this finale like literally just created like so much panic, and I'm like, yo, this is great. Like this finale is creating panic, and I'm like, yes, this is what we need. Let's talk about Hunter. Let's talk about Hunter Dino. Homegirl was doing the Lord's work with this martial arts and this choreography.
Yeah.
She was doing the thing, and Hunter Dino did the thing. Like, like she was fucking it up. And like my thing is, I watched this scene several times. Like I watched this scene several times just so I can see if she had a stunt double. She didn't really have a stunt double in the scene. Like, only except for like the falls and stuff. Like that was the only time that she probably had a double. But Homegirl was like, she was going ham. And I'm like, oh, this is what we love to see. This is what we love to see. What did y'all think about this? Like, it made my heart happy.
Oh man, it was so cool because I wasn't expecting it, because we haven't had a ton of more stuff because of COVID protocols and stuff. But this one, of course, it was just her and someone in a suit. So when I saw her, first getting some blows in, it was like, okay, let me not get my hopes up too much, because it's not going to be long. And then it was long, and she's doing all these high kicks, and oh my god, it was so cool. And then she's also like taking hits too.
Yes.
Yeah, not quite Ransik and Jen, but when she got slammed into that wall, that was like ouch.
No, like he like pushed her hard. He knocked her hard into that wall. Like it was like damn. Like, it was like, ooh, ow. Like I know that mess hurt. Like he made her ass sit down. I was like, I was like, oh, 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 I know you hurt. I know you hurt, baby. It's okay. It's okay. Just sit down. Take a breather, baby. It's okay. It's all right. You did good. You did good. Go ahead and relax. It's all right. Child, because he was about to take her out. Like that was actually the first time that we actually seen Slither actually like look like he was gonna potentially kill a ranger. Because like before, I mean, we seen him like go toe to toe and like, like match them blow for blow. But oh, look at that, I rhymed. But but this time, like it really actually looked like he was gonna like actually to take her out, like actually defeat a ranger. And I was like, oh shit, oh shit. Is she gonna go? Like, but obviously we know that.
Please.
We know that. But like it's still cool to establish that kind of like, oh snap, like what's gonna happen? Because like we don't get this. We don't get this in Power Rangers. Generally, we don't get this. So it's like, oh wow, like what's going to happen? Like what's going on? So no, I enjoyed that scene so much. Like I love that scene. That's probably one of my favorite scenes out this entire episode. For sure. And of course, when they introduced the Dino daggers, like I'm just like, anytime they bring those weapons, I'm like, yes, we need to see more of them.
I was excited to see those. Yeah.
Yeah, like those damn dino daggers. I really wish they actually used those weapons a lot more than they did.
Yeah.
I really wish they did. Because what would have been cool, and I know they're mainly like projectiles, like they mainly throw them like boomerangs. But what I would have loved to have seen is if they did like maybe a throwback to Mighty Morphin, because I don't know why I see this in my head, but I would have loved to have seen them like do a little throwback to Mighty Morphin and make those weapons kind of like the way the Rangers would do the blade blasters, where they'll like point all of them into like a star formation and shoot like an energy blast with them. Like I would have loved something like that from those weapons. Like or like maybe kind of like something from like Lost Galaxy. That would have been like a cool throwback to having like the trans daggers, star formation, like something like that. Like I personally really love the Dino daggers. I really love those weapons. But it, like I said, it was cool to see them again and see them like be thrown like little boomerangs and almost chop Ollie's head off. Any potential risk of danger for Ollie is great to me. Speaking of potential risks and danger, were you expecting Amelia to get shot by her own weapon, like her own ghost gun?
No, that was crazy, and it made her demorph. What?
It shocked the shit out of her. It was like, oh snap! What kind of electricity is running in these things?
Right.
Because it made her demorph. I was like, oh shit. Like, yo, that was crazy. But I actually it was a cute little throwback to me because remember she shot Ollie with it on the first episode. So the fact that she gets shot with it is like, ooh, like it's like now you know how it feels because
right.
You did it to Ollie. Now it's like, hey, but yeah, like that was pretty dope. Now how do you feel about the actual story of her parents? That's the main thing I wanted to talk about.
Right. Oh man. Well, first and foremost, Lena, you called it months ago.
She did.
Yeah. I mean, I I feel like okay, the thing is too, I feel like it was so obvious, like in the sense that like I wish there was a bit more of a like how do I say this? Like in the beginning we had no clue, right? And then oh, here's the confusing thing for me.
Okay.
Her parents don't have the antennas, but she does.
She did. They did.
They did?
Yeah, in the throwback scene, they did.
Oh, okay. Don't know why I thought
Yeah,
they
they
didn't,
did.
but anyways, yeah, I feel like they kind of made it a little obvious as time went on. Like, like when they kept bringing up her parents were missing, her parents were missing. I'm like, okay, I feel like it's like they're in
Mm-hmm.
plain sight. Like it's at this point they're in plain sight, and I think even just with
Right.
the boy queen and her vengeance towards humans, it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's a rage of a mother. The rage that she was given,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
you know,
Yes, that oh man, like to see why she's so angry, it makes sense now. Why
right?
she
Yeah.
hates him so much. Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, either they killed her child or they taken her child. Like something's happened. We just don't know what. And because like in every now I'm not a mother myself, so I won't know the extent that she's feeling, but you always get the sense that like I do I am interested. It is interesting to know that Rakonian isn't all black. So I'm like, oh,
Right.
that was
That
disappointing.
was
That
yes.
was
That
disappointing.
yes. 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 Now I'm glad somebody said it because
I was
I was
thinking.
kind of thinking it at one point. I'm like, oh, so they're not all black. All right.
Right? And I was like,
Never mind.
I guess, you know,
Right. I
like,
guess.
Yeah.
and unfortunately, though, too, them two are like the most beautiful white people, too. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, like you can't even be mad at that because, like, boy, daddy, he's a daddy. And like, boy,
Boy,
queen, I
Zaddy
mean,
is fine. And
she's
she is
pretty.
just
Like,
beautiful.
she's just beautiful,
Right.
So it's just like, you can't be mad about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And then you have Amelia who's gorgeous herself. So you're just kind of like, I guess, I suppose. I guess is what we're having, like I suppose.
I I still love that the first ones that we saw were two black people.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that that's pretty cool. Like the fact that we thought that was the standard, because we usually whenever we see aliens, if they're not like totally not human or different colors or different shapes or something, it's always a white person.
Yeah.
So it was still cool to see that, and just to know that there's I guess just like Earth, there's just different races of Ravkonians. So that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, also too, what it did for me was it really made it, recognizable that, obviously, we're not alone, and the potential life that's out there, it kind of does make you think like, okay, do they look like us? Like, are they, are they, do they have antenna? Like, do they look human? Like, do they look humanoid? Like, what, like those are always the questions that I've always thought in my head when it came down to thinking about, okay, if aliens do exist, which I mean, I think they do, but if they do exist, what would they look like? Like, would they look humanoid? Like, would they be looking like big bugs? Like, like would they look like the people from fucking Mars Attacks? Because those mugs were crazy. Like, you know, what would they look like? So, but it is funny that you say that, Lena, because like you pick the two most beautiful looking people to be aliens because Boy Zaddy is fine. And then you have like of course Boyd Queen, who is like also gorgeous. So it's just funny to me. I'm like, wow, y'all did that. Um y'all did that. Um but yeah, I like wow, like it just really that in itself just really got me because just to know that, first of all, or I can understand Boy Queen's rage towards human beings. I can understand it because when Tarek was like, hey, I'm just trying to, we're just trying to find a place. We're scavengers. Like, we just want just some things to help us. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to me, what it really kind of paled to comparison of, I don't know whether y'all caught this, but what it kind of alluded to in a sense was immigration. Did y'all get that?
Mm.
Because and seeking asylum, like seeking
Mm.
refuge. Like that's what it kind of felt like to me. Because it was just like they basically were displaced and they needed shelter. They needed a place. Like they had a child, like they just needed things just so that they can get by and keep and go to the next planet or whatever have you. And literally, like, we basically told them, like, no. Like, instead of you actually getting what you're needing and leaving, we have to keep you here. We're imprisoning you.
Yeah.
And like that, to me, I can understand why Centaur started hating humans. I
Yeah.
understood it. At that moment,
Oh,
I
of
was like,
course.
I get it. It wasn't for me, it wasn't solely when she thought that her child was dead, which I'm like, yes, that would
I
most certainly
I
make
feel
me
like that
think
was
that.
probably like the cherry on top, you know?
Right. Right.
Like, yeah, like obviously her starting to hate him, I can totally see that because like
I can see it.
obviously you don't like something. I mean, anybody really, it doesn't have to be just you, but like if you're in a place where you're not wanted, you're gonna start to resent that being,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Or kept against your will.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he was kept against the will. Like I totally get that. And
Yeah.
yeah, the cherry on top was definitely the child missing.
Yeah. Yeah. And her thinking that, the child was dead. Like that really set her off. So it was like, no, I understand. Like, and that to me makes Void Queen to me such a wonderful villain. That makes her fucking wonderful. Because like I don't know about y'all, sometimes like the whole idea of villains just being evil just to be evil, it's okay sometimes, but there's nothing like a villain that is evil because they were done wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like like good villains are made. They're not just people who just are like, I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed one day and I'm a bad guy. No, like a good villain actually has a reason as to why they're doing it. And a lot of times an even better villain is a villain that has a reason as to why they're doing it because they were wrong. And she had a clear cut reason as to why she was like, no, y'all motherfuckers did me dirty. Not only did you capture us when we were just trying to get the things that we needed so that we can, leave and, continue. Not only did you capture us and you you basically imprisoned us in this hole, like you know, like we did something wrong. You also seemingly you made me think that my child is dead. So it's just like I could totally see her going crazy. I totally understood it. So, it was just like, it was one of those things where it's like, now I understand the different sides. I understand why Tarek wasn't so much like, I don't understand the whole revenge thing. Like, I don't get it because, he himself was like, I don't know. It just really felt odd to me that like that humans would do that. But then again, I could see why humans would do that because that's something that we would do.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the show really went there and just showed how humanity actually can be. Because under normal circumstances, Power Rangers would have definitely had those people that captured them. They would have definitely been like, oh yeah, we're just gonna keep you here. Listen, you're not prisoners. We're just gonna keep you here. We're also gonna give you all the things that you need. But and they would have tried to rosy it up to not make it seem as bad. But no, like this time around, no, they definitely were like, oh no, you're our prisoner. Like in this scene, they made it very clear. Oh no, like you're captured. Like you are our prisoner. So I really love that Power Rangers went there with that story. Now, I'm not gonna hold y'all. Y'all seen Dark Knight Rises?
Yes.
Yes.
Dark Knight Rises is the last one, right? With
Yes.
Catwoman?
Yeah,
Okay.
the
Y'all
one
remember?
that wasn't so great with the random soundtrack that made no sense.
Yes. Now, y'all remember that scene when Talia al Ghul died? Y'all remember that scene?
Yes.
Now, tell me Santora was not given that when she was like, they took my child away. The humans will pay. And the way she passed out was giving Talia al Ghul, and I literally hollered. Like I was screaming.
Wow.
I was screaming. I'm not gonna hold you. I laughed. I really did laugh. Like I was like, wait a minute now. You had to give us that. Like, that was funny. But now I will say too, during this whole little montage, there's another Dino Saber. There's another Chroma Fury Saber that popped up that Void Daddy used. If Cosmic Fury wanted to play their cards right, that might be the next saber that they could possibly use for the Orange Ranger. I'm just saying. Because where did that damn weapon come from? Where did that come from? Like, because go ahead.
What all did he had? He had the Dino Saber, the Chrome Morpher, and a regular Morpher too.
No, he had the Chroma Fury Saber, which is the Dino Saber. I said that wrong. Well, it was the Chroma Fury Saber, and he had the Dino Knight armor key and the Dino armor morpher thingy.
Okay.
Yeah, he had those 3 items in the thing. So I'm like, that's odd that there was another saber sitting there. So I'm just like, I wonder where that saber came from. Because that's really weird that you just got this, like, because the thing is, we know that that the Dino Fury Rangers all coincide with their 6 dinosaurs. And the Morphin Masters created those, they created those powers based off of the six Ravkonians, the original warriors. So we know that it was established that there were six people. So was there like a random other person that the Morphin Masters went to and was like, we're going to give them another, another weapon, another Chromo Fury Saber, so that they can fight over here, but nobody knows about it. Like, did that happen? Like, where did this come from? Is the question that we're asking. Because it was just like, why do we have this? Like, So that was the thing that kind of was odd to me. Was like, I don't know whether they didn't think about this or whether this was one of those things where they were just like, it's Power Rangers, nobody's going to think about it that deep. But I'm just like, I just think it's odd that we have a seventh Chroma Fury Saber. Who did this belong to? And what were their powers? So, because it could have been a Purple Ranger, could have. Or it could have been, an Orange Ranger. It could have been anything. So I don't know. Like that was like the main thing that really stuck out to me in that scene. That was one of the things that stuck out. But yeah, and of course she finds out that Tarek is her father, and the memories of her and finding out that she's his little baby girl, made the Spork's energy just dissipate and disappear. So we now know that love or loving memories are what destroys Spork's energy, as we've known from the previous episode, episode 19, when Javi and Izzy, they were under the spell and thinking of the love for their parents and their memories and everything destroyed the Spork's energy and made them good again. So, is this how they're going to free Void Queen? We're going to talk about that next time. And also, too, our next episode, we will definitely be talking about episode 22 and also what we're thinking for the entire run of Dino Fury. So that's season 1 and season 2. We're going to give our thoughts on that. So be prepared for that. But before we go, rate this. What do y'all think on rating wise? What do y'all think about these two episodes? Episode 20 and 21.
5's.
Yeah,
5's.
5's. They were really good episodes, and like it didn't I didn't feel like I was watching Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I did not feel like it. I was like genuinely intrigued what was gonna happen next. Like I was like, oh my god, like holy shit, what's gonna happen next? Like it was really well done and storyline was well written. Just 5's. Just 5's all across.
I felt like I was watching Power Rangers, but it was good Power Rangers. Oh man, good Power Rangers is just I missed it so much.
It's been a long time since we got good Power Rangers. So yeah, I guess that's probably why I'm like didn't feel like I was watching Power Rangers because what was that?
Right.
No, it felt like a completely different show because we haven't had good seasons in so long, especially good finales. Like we haven't had good finales and good lead up to finales in so long. Like it's been such a journey. Because when you think about it, me personally, the last good lead into a finale to me was RPM. Hands down. Like
wow. Not even the season 1 of Dino Charge?
No, for me, the only reason why
I like RPM.
What you say?
I'm with you there, Brandon. I was actually thinking of RPM when we said good Power Rangers. So I'm so with you there.
Yeah, because like the reason why I say that, Will, is because like as good as season 1 of Dino Charge was, the penultimate episode before the final episode was just it felt like a regular episode. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
feel, I didn't feel any sense of urgency. And just going back to that conversation of, how we were saying, like, there was a sense of urgency, like there was buildup, there was this feeling of like impending doom. I didn't feel anything. It was just a regular generic episode, and then you had the final episode. Even though it was great, the final episode of Dino Charge season 1, it was great. Don't get me wrong, but it just didn't feel like, oh my goodness, there were stakes. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't have that. So, the thing with RPM was that you felt it. Like there was this impending doom. Muggs was turning into fucking zombie cyborgs. Like everybody all over the city was just popping up like, oh shit, I'm being turned on. Everybody's turning into little cyborgs. Like it was nuts. It was pandemonium. And it's just like, oh shit, like it's about to go down kind of a situation. Dylan is about to turn into one himself. Like, I mean, it was going crazy. Like everything was going nuts. So, you felt that impending doom. And didn't whatchamacallit die too? Die in quotation marks. Jim and Gemma. Like
right.
they died.
Yep.
Like, so it was like shit got real. Like shit got really real. And that was the last time that we felt that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That was the last time, yeah. Because like I think the last time someone ever died was Kendricks. And that was a long time ago.
Yeah. It was a long ass time ago. Like, I mean, so it really was getting real. And like I said, I put quotes around dying because obviously like they came back. But, it was just like, it's just one of those things where it's like, I want to feel like shit is hitting the fan. And like in any of the Neo Saban seasons, you didn't feel that. Even with Beast Morphers. Like, it was just like, okay, all right, cool. All right, we know that Venjix is the one. Venjix is Evox. We made that discovery. It's like, oh shit, okay, cool. But did I feel like shit is getting real? Not really. I mean, they tried to kind of incite that danger of like, oh no, something's going to happen. Oh no. But in essence, it's like, all right, I guess. I didn't feel anything from that. Samurai, not even gonna touch that. Megaforce, Child Cheese. Like, like all these other seasons didn't establish anything. So it was just like, and to me, I feel like you have to do the work, you have to do the layering to give me something. To make me go, oh snap, like shit is about to get real. And I think that Dino Fury did a wonderful job with the last 4 episodes of building that tension. From, the drill busting through Dino Hinge and, knocking the breath out of Solon, had her flying 10 feet in the air and hitting the wall. Like, from that to like, all the shit that was happening and finding out Void Queen is trying to like basically decimate the city. And first she tried to drown the city. Now she's trying to blow the bitch up. Like, I mean, shit is getting real. Like, this woman is like, I am out for you hoes. Like, I'm coming for you. So, like, this is what we want to see. You know what I'm saying? This is the type of impending danger that I want to see in my Power Rangers. I don't need, us getting right to the final episode and then being like, ooh, something bad is going to happen, because now I'm sitting here like, y'all going to win. Because you have to, because this is the final episode. You have to win. You know what I'm saying?
Unless they lose like they did in Turbo.
True, but also like, are we really doing this? Like, like that's only if like they were really gonna have like a setup for next season. You know what I'm saying? If they were gonna use like the next cast or something like that. Or shit, they could just be really dark and just be like, nobody survived. The end. Now, if Power
Rogue
Rangers did some
One.
shit like that, okay. Yes. Yes. If Power Rangers did some shit like that, yo, I ain't gonna hold you. I would be shocked. If they were to be like, hey, nobody survived. Like, nobody won. Like, stalemate. Everybody's dead. That would be interesting. But other than that, like, yeah, man, like, I think that this is a good setup. So I'm really impressed with Dino Fury and what they're bringing to the table. Anything else y'all want to add before we go ahead and get on out of here?
No. What did you give it? 5?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, 5s. Yeah,
Okay.
5s across the board.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let us know what you guys think. Did you think that it's given? Did y'all really think that, these 2 episodes are as good as we said they are? Or are you thinking, I think I might give it a 4 or a 3, or hell, some people might even give it a 2. I don't know. Like, because there are some people out here that don't like Dino Fury. So shit, they might be like, it's a 1. Fuck that show.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
If you don't like Dino Fury, all I got to say is 1, what are you watching that's better than so far?
Ooh, good
So,
question.
yes, that's what I want
Good
to know.
question.
And if you all come out here and be like, it was Mega Force or Samurai, you know what?
Oh my God.
You know what?
Oh, child.
If you do say that, please let it be known that yes, your answer is validated, but we don't want to hear it.
Blue? Well.
No, thank you.
Well. Not much I can come back from that. Not much I can say to that. But nah, like for real, like no, seriously, that is the question I'm asking. Like, if y'all don't really too much care for this, like, what other seasons are you actually like? This is better. And please do tell us in the comment section. Like, seriously, like, if you don't like Dino Fury or don't like the finale or the lead-in or anything, tell us what seasons you thought were better. And we might even read it on the show. Who knows? But
that'd be fun.
That would be fun, right? That would actually be a lot of fun. So yeah. Until next time, everyone. My name is Brandon.
My name is Lena.
And my name is Will.
And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.